Good morning, good evening, and a good afternoon. This is Nathaniel Kimpton Productions here today, and welcome back to Project Law Barrow. So this is the next layout update. I'm sorry it's taken such a long bloody time to get here. But obviously things in the world have been a bit mental, and I haven't actually been able to do very much with the layout. But enough has changed now for an update to take place. So not a lot has happened on the scenery front, but there is a few kind of new additions to the layout, locomotive and rolling stock wise, so that we will have a look at. So over here, as you can see, I've managed to put down a little bit of grass. Just kind of on the corner here near the depot. This was more of a kind of an experiment really, just to see what it would look like, and I think it looks okay. It looks a little bit more green than the camera is picking up. I think I may have the colour profile on the camera slightly wrong, but never mind. You can see I've put some very basic kind of gravelly, stony looking things in the riverbed down here as well, just because I was kind of sick of looking at the bare baseboard with nothing underneath it. It's just, I think it's made by Jarvis. It's actually the same stuff that's over here on the narrow gauge layout. It's exactly the same stuff. So other than that, there has been no real progress to scenery. Maybe a few new buildings have appeared. I've finally started to figure out where I want things to go, except that coal stage has wandered way too far. The electrical side of things for track work is basically done now. If I pan down to the control panel, you can see that I've got, excuse me, the section switch for the locomotive yards, and also a section switch here, which if we pan back up to the layout you can see is just here for holding locomotives in the end of the bay platform there, which just enables some extra shunting movements, so a goods train can come in from this direction and stop and unhitch a couple of wagons. The little austerity tank down there, Wimblebury, I think that one's called, would then kind of act as station pilot and be down that end of the bay platform when the goods train comes in, detach the wagons it needs to, run back, stick them in front of Wimblebury, and then either the locomotive can either go back on its train and carry on its journey, or it can go straight into the depot there and, you know, coal and water up, whilst Wimblebury does a little bit of shunting in the siding here, and using the insulating section, which is just in front of the shed there, that enables the goods train loco to park up in the shed, leaving the shunting engine all of this space to shunt in, as well as the siding if needed. So if we move round back of the layout, you can see that, oh, things are looking a bit more tidy, apart from the screwdriver. You'll also notice that there is, I mean, obviously there's a new standard 4 that's appeared out of nowhere, but there's also quite a few new wagons. These bogie bolsters here, made by Hornby. One or two of them are slightly wonky for some reason. I don't exactly know why that's a thing, but they are. I've also got 2 of these Great Western box van things, and you can see I've got 2 of these as well, kind of like 7-plank ballast wagons. I've also got these 2 milk tankers. They're plain. They're just plain bluey purpley colour, and there's no like company on them. At least I don't think there is. I can see some writing. Oh, apparently they say Express Dairies, but it's so small that I'd be able to take that off and kind of make up my own dairy basically, which is what the plan was. And all the way down the end, if I zoom in, you'll have to excuse me. My first Mark 1 brake coach to accompany the rest of the Mark 1s, apart from, obviously, the stray 63 feet bully that I'm still trying to replace. And lastly, the standard 4. Looking rather splendid, actually. I'm quite impressed with this. I bought them all second-hand, by the way, from Hatton's online. Fairly decent company for buying things second-hand. They're not perfect, but nothing ever is. And then if I bring the camera down, you can see, ooh, it's a bit dark, but look at that. I have a shelf with rolling stock on it. And apparently a whiteboard pen. There we go. So yeah, this is where all the rolling stock and locomotives are at the moment. They're all tucked away down here, nice and neat, out of the way. Because I was paranoid with them being up here, that if someone were to come in the door, not realising they were there, they might knock them off the layout on the floor, or, you know, it wouldn't be too difficult for someone to pinch one if I'm not looking. So they're all down here now. They're more or less completely hidden. You know, you don't know they're there unless you're looking for them. But down here we have another new item of rolling stock. Let's bring it up to the light. It's not a Gov wagon, it's a CCT wagon from the southern region. I think Dapple? I think? I don't know. I can't actually see the manufacturer. But yeah, there's that. Which runs alongside my bullied coaches. I've also got myself a bullied brake coach. You may have seen this in the last video, I'm not entirely sure. But there we go, I've got this as well. And as for new items of locomotives and rolling stock, that is effectively it, really. There's not a lot else. Yeah, there hasn't been much changes to the layout. There hasn't been many changes. The changes that have happened are subtle, but, you know, they're important enough to make a video about. Well, at least that's how I felt, anyway. So now, why don't I stick the camera on a tripod, and we'll have a look. I'll just run the few trains that I've got right in the back there. I won't run anything else, really. I guess I could, but it's quite a lot of effort. So I'll run those 3 round a little bit. Okay, you'll have to excuse the shadows. I'm actually standing in front of the big softbox light. So you'll have to excuse me for that. Right, I think it should be the pannier tank that comes out first, in theory. And indeed it is. That's a good guess. It appears I need to clean the track again, which is complete horseshit because I only did it a couple of days ago. Mind you. Mind you, I did have my wall fixed, so I expect that's probably something to do with it. Okay, that will basically do for this video. Sorry it was quite a short one. There hasn't been many changes on the layout at all. I hope you enjoyed the quick running session. If you have any questions about the layout or anything in general really, do post them in the comments below. I do try and answer any that I see. Yeah. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye!